Hello Guardians, it is Ebontis here. We are on Nessus. We are up here in Watcher's Grave, and it is Xur Day, so it's Friday, and we've got to see what he's got for an inventory. Recorded the Last Word podcast this morning. I'll get that one up to the YouTube channel later today. Had an awesome guest of Team Resolute. We had Chibi Kim, so an awesome streamer, so definitely look forward to checking that one out. So subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't yet. Last Word podcast will be posted up probably tomorrow for the YouTube channel for me. But as we get up here, let's see what Tentacle Face has. Emissary of the Nine, Crazy Man. Let's see what he's got. All right, just a reminder, exotic engrams, your chance to either complete your exotic collection and getting things that you don't have in your exotic collection that can come from world drops. And then also, of course, once you have all of those, a chance to get a random piece of armor with some good stat rolls. Well, let's see what he's selling this week for his inventory. First thing we've got is Black Talon. This is going to be a sword. Swords are in actually a pretty good spot right now. They are a lot of fun to use. You can do a lot of damage with them. And the nice thing about this one is the fact that you've got that really heavy projectile. When you're at full energy, it hits like 2 times. It's really, really fun to use. So if you haven't picked up this sword, definitely a fun one to pick up and check out. It's got a cool ornament to it as well. Completely changes the look of it. So really, really enjoy this weapon. I'll put it back to normal look while I go over it. Perk here is Crow's Wings. Fires a heavy projectile attack. Heavy attacks are stronger with full energy, so when you do fire the projectile, make sure you wait till that energy is full. Also, it says attacks partially bypass elemental shields, so you can still work through some of those. Overall, it's just a fun sword with a projectile. It's a different type of projectile than the legendary one we got this season. So honestly, as we have one with a projectile right now that is legendary, and that's the main thing that sets this one apart, they may buff this sword later on. So if you don't have this one, make sure you add it to your collection, because going into the fall, you never know what things are going to get buffed. So make sure you try and get all the exotics you can. So if you're missing this, pick it up, test it out. It's actually a lot of fun to use. For the hunters, we've got the Mechaneer's Tricksleeves. Perk here is going to be Spring-Loaded Mounting. Increases sidearm ready and reload speed. While you're critically wounded, swapping to a sidearm increases its damage. So we've got 2 things. Your ready and reload speed for sidearms is going to be insanely quick. So if you're a sidearm user, especially in something like PvP, switching over, finishing up kills or anything like that, this is a nice thing that you're going to want to consider. And we've also got the sidearm increase in damage if you're low. So if you are in that, kind of one-on-one situation and you're tough, kind of lower on health, and you switch over, those last couple bullets may hit harder. Sidearms in and of themselves hit pretty good, so if you can switch over and get that little bonus in the end, that may be that one bullet that saves your life. So if you enjoy sidearms and you're a hunter especially, definitely consider picking these up. We've got a decent stat roll on it as well. We've got a 63 stat roll. You got 22 in the discipline department. Again, this is a weapon-based one, so no stats are really specifically going to affect those, but getting 22 on anything is good, especially if it's going to be something that affects your cooldown time. So 22 discipline, you only got 2 intellect, so if you like your super, this may not be the perfect roll for you. 7 strength, 9 recovery, 13 resilience, and 10 mobility. All in all, not too shabby. For you sidearm hunters, this could be a godsend if you haven't tried it before. Who knows? For the Titan, we've got Dunemarchers. They always look cool, bright, white and green. There are some cool ornaments on those, but the perk is linear actuators. So it increases sprint speed, just in and of itself a good thing. There's not a lot of things that do that. There's basically one per class that gets that increase in sprint speed. Sprinting builds up a static charge. After melee attacking an enemy, that charge will chain damage to nearby enemies, and these actually just got a buff that they chain farther, and I think they do more damage. I'd have to go back and look at the notes, but these actually got a little buff recently. So you're running faster all the time. Especially depending on if you're running with shoulder charge or anything like that, build up a static charge and then melee an enemy, have that chained to other people. It's kind of a cool thing to use. I've seen some pretty powerful runs with this one, but sprint speed in general is something that a lot of people just run with as is. So Dunemarchers for you Titans out there, not too shabby. Stat-wise, we've got 11 mobility, 14 strength, so at least a decent weight for the 2 stats that are mainly going to affect this one. I've also got 19 in resilience, not a bad thing when it comes to PvP as well, where you're probably going to use this more as opposed to PvE. Really low on recovery though, so you're going to have to be looking to make that up somewhere else. Discipline and intellect, not the highest either at 6 and 9. So definitely in the mobility and strength department, which fits for this exotic for a change, which is not a bad thing. But yeah, your abilities probably won't be coming back the fastest on this roll. For the Warlocks, we've got the Claws of Ahamkara. Very straightforward. You gain an additional melee charge. but you've got new melees that are pretty fun to use. Celestial Fire, where you shoot those 3 little firebolts. Having 2 of those, one as backup, could be that one moment where you need the, the extra melee in a PvP match, or you're going for trying to stay up in the air if you're working the floating Warlock build, things like that. There are definitely certain uses getting that melee is going to benefit you. So definitely consider these as a Warlock. Now, they may not be like, really amazing. The perk is a very short description and additional melee, but there are some builds that can take advantage of this. If this is your kind of style, using melees and, hovering in the air, or if you're using that Celestial Fire in PvP and you want another charge of that, this is the way to go. Pretty straightforward exotic. Stats on this one, let me see if I can turn the chest so we can see them. We've got Recovery at 17 as a high one, and also Strength at 15, and as this is based around a melee charge, that's actually a pretty good stat roll. Recovery for a Warlock, that's your class stat, and then Strength at 15. Both of those are actually pretty good. I mean, it's 62, so it's not bad in the first place. 7, 8, 9, and 6 for the other stats. Not the highest, but the fact that it's Recovery and Strength pretty specifically talks to a Warlock who wants melees. So overall, actually a reasonable stat roll to take advantage of this exotic. Well, that pretty much wraps up Xur this week. It is July 10th. As I said, we just got done with the Last Word podcast, so if you guys didn't catch that one live, we have Chibi Kim, an awesome Twitch streamer. She was on there. We chatted up for a while. A lot of speculation going into the season, so very cool. And if you guys want to find me, I'll be streaming twitch.tv/Ebontis, and you can find just updates with me on twitter.com/Ebontis as well. But if you enjoyed the video, drop a like below, leave a comment if you just want to say hello. I always try and say hello back. And for those of you guys who haven't subbed to the channel, always more content coming from me, so hit that subscription button and the alert bell. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. I'll see you soon.